It's trailer breakdown time, my friends. The Hawkeye trailer is out, and this looks like it is going to be a good time of a Disney Plus Marvel series. We're going to break down the entire trailer. And if you guys want to see it broke down in article form, go check out Multiverse Direct. The link will be at the top of the description. And you guys get over there, bookmark the website. That's our website. That's my website. You guys get over there. We're growing it every single day. If you like pop culture news, Marvel, DC, we've got you covered. Drop a like if you're excited, if you're a Hawkeye fan, and let's get into this. The first teaser trailer has dropped and actually gives us a good idea of the plot of the show. The first shot of the teaser shows us New York City at Christmas time, and then we cut to Clint Barton, yes, Mr. Hawkeye, and his family celebrating a rare Christmas meal in a restaurant. We see the family except for his wife, and they're around the table holding hands. As Leela says, this is the first Christmas they've had in years. This is due to the fact, well, that Thanos snapped away half the universe, including Clint's entire family, so this would be the first time Clint has spent Christmas with his family in 5 years. Now, this show is set at Christmas time, and this would mean that the show is going to be set about 2 months after Avengers Endgame, and Clint seems to be wanting to make up for the time that he lost with his family. Then, we see a street in New York with a theater with the sign that reads, Rogers the Musical. Clearly, it's a theatrical production about Steve Rogers as Captain America, telling the story probably of Endgame with all the Avengers, because we see a lot of them. We see a lot of the actors dressed up. We see Loki, we see Thor, we see, I think that's Hulk, we see Black Widow, and others. And we see a shot of the billboard in the background that says thank you. This could be nothing, but it could also be the people of New York thanking the Avengers for bringing their loved ones back after the blip. The next scene shows Clint noticing a news report regarding a mass vigilante returning. It looks very familiar to him, and the suit is actually the Ronin suit that Clint wore during the 5-year blip. The news report states that the police are concerned that the mass vigilante who causes terror in New York's underworld has returned. They think it's him. And he's obviously confused because it's not him. And there's a flashback to the scene in Avengers Endgame where he kills a crime boss and sees Natasha just before he rejoins the Avengers for the time heist. We then hear Clint say that the past is catching up with him as he tells his daughter, don't worry, and promises that he will be home for Christmas. My guess, it's going to be all about Clint getting home for Christmas during these 6 episodes. And yes, it is going to be 6 episodes. The Marvel Studios logo then comes up, has the custom Hawkeye logo, which is now a common theme for a Disney Plus series. They get their own branded Marvel logo, which I think is pretty cool. We saw it in WandaVision, we saw it in Loki, and we're seeing it again. It's got a target around it. Once again, it's got some snow in the background, referring to the Christmas season. We then cut to Clint trying to find the person that is using the same suit he used as Ronin during the blip, as he states that he wore that suit, and he made a lot of enemies. We then see the imposter being chased in the streets by a gang, and they are attacked by the fake Ronin. This gang is actually going to be the Tracksuit Mafia, which is a villainous group in the comics who, they're not even really a mid-level threat. I guess they pose threats to Hawkeye, but they're kind of like a sub-boss, and they're more like a comedic sub-boss, if you will. Hawkeye intervenes, removes the vigilante's mask, and reveals Kate Bishop, played by none other than Haley Steinfeld, which is pretty cool. Now, it seems that the plot of the show includes Kate donning the same suit that Hawkeye wore as Ronin in order to be more like him. She's a fangirl of Hawkeye. She even looks shocked to see Clint, easily identifies him as Hawkeye. He's her idol, you can tell. However, due to the fact that Clint created many enemies whilst as Ronin, this probably caused those same enemies to track him down through Kate. Hawkeye asked who Kate is as we cut to a scene of her firing an arrow to Bella, ringing it while she destroys the actual tower. And she actually says some people have referred to her as the best archer in the world. And he says, you? And yeah, she referred to herself as that. I think this is going to be a very, very funny series. Then we have another tease by Marvel at this location, which is very close to the Avengers Tower, which was bought out by a mysterious buyer that has yet to be revealed. Who's it going to be? Norman Osborn? Kang the Conqueror? We're going to have to wait and see. There's been speculation that it could be renovated as the Baxter Building, which it could be home of the Fantastic Four as well. I don't know. Could be the home of Oscorp. We'll have to see. It's almost like Marvel is trying to hide Avengers Tower as much as possible to not reveal anything too early. Hawkeye's then shown in a kitchen with Kate Bishop. Both of them seem to have been in a recent fight, as he gets a call from his wife, so his wife is there, and I don't think they're divorced, where he tells her that they'll be home soon. He then seems to have a target on his back in this show, similar to the target shown in the title of the show, and he's trying to fix that problem before going home to his family. He doesn't want to put them in danger. The next shot is one of the Tracksuit Mafia, shown earlier, throwing a Molotov at Clint through a window, but Clint hilariously breaks the window in front of him, catches the bottle, and throws it back. Like I said, this is a low-level sub-boss team. Clint seems to be in some sort of apartment above a pizza place, which could be one of Clint's safe houses. We don't know. We then see a shot of Clint jumping out of the window, bow in hand, trying to use a rope to escape the skyscraper he's in, only to fail and fall to the ground. Now, obviously, he would catch himself in that situation, or he would be dead, possibly on the nearby Christmas tree. But once again, it's humor. So we go to the next scene, and it's Clint injured once again as he covers himself in ice packs to soothe the pain. We then see him running through a crowded restaurant. He's shot by unseen attackers, probably at the dinner we saw with his family. And it's probably people from the Tracksuit Mafia that are after him and Kate. We then cut to Clint getting a bag removed from his head as he sees those same gang members pointing guns at him, and we are shown Kate Bishop using her bow as a zip line. As she tries to drop through the skylight, she lands at Clint's feet to show she messed up the rescue. She's not quite good with her skills yet, is the vibe I'm actually getting. The trailer then shows a quick few action sequences. One shot shows the Tracksuit Mafia at the Rockefeller Center as they approach the huge Christmas tree, and it looks like this is the same tree location where Clint jumped out of the window and fell. So this is probably the gang trying to get Hawkeye on the ground level with them. The second shot shows us Vera Farmiga's character, Eleanor Bishop, who is Kate's mom. Now, in the comics, she was assumed dead, but it was revealed to be she was alive, and she was helping Madame Mask, who is one of Kate's enemies in the comics. So, in the MCU, maybe we'll find a twist. Maybe Eleanor will be helping Madame Mask, or maybe Eleanor is Madame Mask. It could be the main villain of the show. It's definitely not going to be the Tracksuit Mafia. They're not going to be the main villain at all. We have another shot of us. Shows us Rogers musical as we see a lot of actors playing the parts of the Avengers and the Chitauri, which we talked about, the Battle of New York. We see actors dressed up as Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, Loki, Iron Man, Hulk in a hoodie actually, as well as a few civilians. And we then have the Chitauri army and of course Steve Rogers front and center. We also see an actor to the far left of the screen, but separate from the rest of the cast, who's wearing a shirt from the Pimtech logo on the front. Now, this actor could be playing as Ant-Man, which is clearly a mistake made by the people who made the musical, as Ant-Man was not present in the Battle of New York. And another shot shows us Lucky the dog, who in the comics is very closely related to the Tracksuit Mafia, and he eventually becomes Kate Bishop's pet. Now, we have another one of those quick shots at what seems medieval fanfare, if you will. I think it's some kind of fair where they go pretend to fight. I don't think he's actually fighting anybody, and they're in Ronin attire. I think it can be assumed that this is Kate in the suit at that moment, but we then see another shot of Clint pretending to fight some of the cosplayers, and he is not wearing the Ronin suit. So the next shot we see is Rockefeller Center again, only this time the tree has fallen onto the ice rink as Clint and Kate fight off the gang members with their bows. Now, among these shots, we also see Clint and Kate in a very cool team-up shot on the ice rink we saw moments earlier. It's kind of like an Avengers 360 pan, but just the two of them. One of those shots shows us the first glimpse of the superhero Echo, who will be the first deaf superhero. And in the comics, she was very similar to Taskmaster. She could mimic her opponent's moves. However, she may also be an antagonist of this show at first, because Marvel likes to spin things up, but we'll see. We have had confirmation that there's an Echo project at Marvel Studios, so it would be pretty cool if this was her introduction. In the last scene of the trailer, we see Clint and Kate in a car going through each of the special arrows, and they decide which one to use. Clint picks some arrows up, says they're too dangerous, as he eventually settles on one and allows Kate to fire it at their pursuers. Now, this scene is a direct correlation of the comics. Same car, same vibe, same everything. She fires the arrow, a huge explosion happens, and she asks Clint if there's some arrows more dangerous than others, and that final shot is Clint and Kate pulling their bowstring to fire in arrows. They fall into a river as we cut to the title of the show with an arrow firing at the letter A and creating the target effect shown earlier with the Marvel Studios logo. Now, the plot of the show seems to revolve heavily on Clint during the blip and shows us the enemies he's made as he tries to fight off his attackers whilst training Kate to be the next Hawkeye. The question is he going to retire? Or is he going to die? Clint clearly wants to spend more time with his family. He wants to retire, so hopefully we see Clint pass the mantle of Hawkeye to Kate Bishop. That's not even talking about Yana Belova, any of the post-credit scenes for Black Widow. We'll get into those very soon, guys. Let me know what you thought of the trailer, and I'll see you soon.